Shalom, all. Stacy, the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to Divinely Decked Tarot and Oracle Reviews done Stacy style. And today we're switching some things up. For those of you who've been following me for a while, you know that I am all about the Phoenix energy, transformation, and I talk a lot about the 5 phases of the Phoenix that we are all in various shapes, forms, and guises in our lives. And it came to me to do a little video on each of the Phoenix phases in terms of tarot decks that you could use. And the one that came to my mind today for the Phoenix burning phase was kind of a unique approach to the change. And so I've pulled 3 decks that we can review, and you can give me a pass or a fail on it. Would love to hear your comments on it. This isn't necessarily decks that I'm going to say like I'm totally in love with and I'm going to go to this all the time. The approach that I'm taking to this is being able to take a more light-hearted approach to some of these more challenging phases that we go through when we are in a transformation. So without further ado, let's get to it and I'll show you what I've picked out. So the Phoenix burning phase tarot card is the death card. And it's basically you come to the end of the road with something. You are recognizing either you're making the choice because you're done with something, stick a fork in me, I'm ready to move on and do something else. Or the universal rug gets pulled out from under you and you're kind of like, oh, okay, I didn't think this was going to happen and I wasn't quite ready for this. And oh, okay, so I've spontaneously combusted and turned into a pile of ash. Where do I go from here? What do I do? And so while there could be a number of decks, yes, this is a phase where, we can use a little more comfort, but I'm going at it more from the perspective of how do I get more lighthearted guidance that is still accurate so that I'm not getting stuck in the hard stuff. There are plenty of decks that can support you with, the hard stuff and the hard feelings. I'm going for decks that I want to say are going to give you that clarity and guidance, but it's also going to help you to find out why this is happening, and maybe with a slightly once removed approach. So the first card deck that came to my mind to share with you guys today is the Wizard's Tarot from Barbara Moore. And the reason why I went with this particular deck, I believe it's a Universal Games. So very traditional Universal Games size and cardstock. I went with this because when we are in a Phoenix phase, a Phoenix burning phase, and things are burning away, we are getting adjusted to something new coming into the mix. It's very helpful for us to be able to tap into the magic of the moment, to be able to see, maybe not necessarily exactly what is coming on the other side of this, but to trust and know that this is being taken away or being removed from my life because I no longer need it, because I'm making room for something new, or this has to burn away in order for me to be ready for the next. And so as you can see, all of the characters in these cards, they represent the wizards, right? Witches and wizards. And, I love Harry Potter. So this, always kind of puts me a little bit in mind of Harry Potter, but it's a very colorful card deck. We look at the Hierophant here, the guide, the teacher, he's got the formulas. He's not afraid to share those formulas with others. He's teaching his students, his pupils, his mentees, and he's happy to provide that information. He's got a cape here, which is the constellations. You're seeing stars on here. So there's a bit of a galactic energy and a galactic feel, while still providing practical, like ancient wisdom in a practical way. This always makes me think of Star Wars and the lightsabers. There's another card in here that indicates that as well. But when you're kind of in that Phoenix burning phase, sometimes it can be a little shocking. I like the imagery here because it's cartoony, but not ridiculously so. You're still getting the gist. Like this Knight of Cups is actually walking through the water and working to come out of the water. You don't often see that when you're seeing a Knight of Cups depicted. But he's fully, his horse at least is almost fully immersed. He's a little bit immersed in there. It's like his horse is his throne, and they're walking through that territory. and bringing you to the other side. So it always gives like a little bit of a different perspective. Here we've got the Hermit. So some traditional RWS features here, a Merlin-esque man with a long white beard, cape, hat, definitely the wizard. He's got his staff with him. He's got the lantern, and the lantern doesn't really give a lot of light, only enough for him to have, a step or two ahead. And where he gets his light is from the moon, from the intuition, from the subconscious, going within the inner world, the inner relationship with himself. So I like this particular deck because you are still getting practical, accurate information, but it feels more magical in its approach, which means that it kind of takes a little bit of the sting out of what is transpiring. And I find when I am going through something that's a little bit difficult, and not every Phoenix burning is painful and difficult. It's always change. Sometimes we initiate it. Sometimes we want that change. And so when we want that change, it becomes a little bit easier to face or put our focus to. And sometimes it can be harder. I find when I'm looking at this deck and connecting with this deck, when I'm trying to figure out why this has transpired, I can receive the information a lot more readily. It doesn't feel harsh, but the colors speak to me. The colors are very vibrant in this particular deck. And I feel like, I always like to talk about each card is its own story, tells its own story. And I feel that this deck does that very well, very clearly, and helps you to kind of understand, all right, when I'm going through this major shift and this major change, why did it happen? Oh, because there's new thought that I need to make room for. And okay, so what was that new thought? Well, actually, come to think of it, I did have a dream the other night. And the dream was connected to a new work venture, or I saw that a new friend was coming into my life, and I don't really know what that's all about. I just kind of had a dream about it. Okay, well, the Ace of Swords comes in to say, let's go a little bit deeper into that dream. Let's go a little deeper into that thought, see if we can expand on it in meditation. Let's create some room in our life for that. If a new friend is coming into the mix, you want to make sure that you've cleared some of your schedule up so that you can make plans with somebody new. If it's a work situation, you want to make sure that you're clearing your schedule to be able to say yes to the new work adventure, or to maybe move on to something else that is going to be offered to you. And if you haven't made room for it, if you're too afraid, at that point to kind of make the leap, then you might miss the moment. So I really like that it kind of empowers you. It reminds you. And even though it's done kind of in a bit of a fantastical way, it's still believable. You can still really feel into that energy. And I like that. I'm like, oh yeah, like I get that. I don't like snow. Whenever I see this, I'm like, ooh, like I'm living in the desert now, and this is as far north as I ever want to get, right? Like this just makes me cold. It makes me chilly. It makes me just feel really like I don't want to ever be here again, because I've been there 1,000,001 times. And she's using her light to keep her warm. She's got this, I want to say, sort of this bubble, protective bubble around her. And so there's a lot that you can get from that when you're talking about those transitions, the death, letting something go. 9 of Swords. She's laying on a bed of swords, right? Raised above, so kind of an out-of-body experience. The swords are in the bed, which is probably why she's not able to be very comfortable. But it's a modern approach to things, so it's a little fantastical but also modern, and it really gives a lot of information. I love this 3 of Swords. Instead of swords in the heart, it's like a person's work, life's work. It looks like they're, the book, the manuscript that they've been writing. Somebody, carelessly leaves the window open during a storm, and all of a sudden, all of the papers go awry. Right? There would be some heartbreak in all of that. Here's the Moon card. So yeah, I really like this particular deck because I do feel that it gives you a bit of a refreshing perspective on what might be transpiring for you, and why this is happening, and how you can tap into your own magic, And again, not to be cheesy about it, but this is empowerment, to tap into the power that is within you, the power that is within each of us, to manifest and co-create, to envision what is coming up and coming through, and to do it in such a way that you can tap into those mysteries of Avalon, the Merlin-esque stories. Nothing wrong with a fairy tale to get the creative juices flowing, to get the imagination going. What would I do if I was in this situation? How might I respond, or how might I react? Where have I been in this space? When I look at these pictures, can I pick a time, a memory, a situation where I have felt what that person is going through right now, what that person is feeling, right? The tower, the big, I would say, save the clock tower, save the clock tower. A little bit of Back to the Future. Eight of Cups, very much based on the traditional RWS, but also has its own flair. So I just really like this deck in terms of a different approach, a lighter approach to that phoenix burning energy. So when there is something that is moving out of your life, when you are the phoenix who is spontaneously combusted and turned into a pile of ash, the Barbara Moore's Wizards Tarot is going to give you a very different perspective on things. The second one that I chose to feature today is the Vice Versa Tarot, Massimiliano Filodoro, Lunea Weatherstone, artwork by David Corsi. I chose this one because it gives you two different perspectives. And what I love about this, when we're talking about that death card, is this card deck is going to show you both sides, both options. It lets you know, this is what I'm leaving behind, this is what I'm going to. And so very simply, here's the Fool card. Very simply, we're seeing the Fool basically reversed. We're seeing the back of the Fool. Actually, I think it is reversed. Yes. So here is the front of the Fool. This is what we would expect. We're seeing a turned over cup. He's holding the flower in his hand. There's no dog in this particular depiction, but there is a crown that's on the ground. He's packing light, and he's standing on the cliff edge. And this could be a sunrise or a sunset, depending on how you're interpreting it. Well, on the back side of the card, you've got the dog watching him and being like, okay, what are you going to do? We see the back of him holding the flower, carrying the satchel lightly. We are still seeing the cup overturned. We're seeing the crown on the ground, or the mask on the ground, and he's looking at a shooting star. So I love this when we're talking about facing that big change, that big shift that often can be scary when we are letting go of one version of ourselves and moving into another version. This deck, and the fact that it does these different interpretations, the two sides to every story type thing, I think really helps to give you a very clear perspective on what's transpiring. So we'll take a look at the Moon card here. So you've got a white dog and a red dog. You've got a turtle, crab. Sorry, no, it is a crab. You've got a crab that's floating in the water, which makes sense. It's either a crab or a lobster that's usually depicted, because it's based on the Cancer astrology sign. You've got the two pillars and the man in the moon, and the man is a theater mask in the moon, which I find interesting. Now this has nudity, so I'm just gonna cover up the nude bits. Here we have a woman standing with one hand, has a crystal, a lit crystal, a lighted crystal, and the other is a bowl of liquid. There's a constellation coming out of the eclipsed moon, and she's got the pillar going on here. So you're getting two different perspectives. And I really like this deck for that very reason. Here we have 9 of Pentacles. You're seeing the back of her walking towards the moon, talking to the dove. And there is a blackbird, a crow, or a raven off in the distance. And here is the front of the card where we see the bunny rabbit. We see her in her garden in the day. Here she is talking to the dove again. We don't see a black bird here. So what does that tell you about what you are leaving behind? What is dead, done, gone, and over with? And what does it tell you about what is ahead? Here we have the Six of Wands, which traditionally is a victory card. And you've got people like, hail the conquering hero. And on the other side, okay, we've got a really bloody victory, like, was it worth it? Win at all costs kind of energy. Did you really get a victory in here? Or was it victory for the moment? Here we have the Knight of Cups. And what we would expect, a knight on the white horse, offering his cup. He's all in his, garb. Well, here we have him at night. He's leaving. It looks like he's leaving a situation. There is a crab on the waters. He's getting ready to go back to where he came from. He's traveling into his waters, and we are seeing that constellation energy. So I really like this deck because of the different perspectives. Eight of Cups. This is a letting go and walking away, but what's interesting is that the child is sitting here looking at the cups, mesmerized by the cups, not walking away, and as a result is missing the shooting star. And here he's chosen to walk away. He's not paying attention to what can no longer be. He's focused on what is to come, new horizons. So when we are going through this Phoenix burning phase, it can be a bit difficult to figure out. Like, sometimes it's very obvious to get the why of a situation, but other times, because you're kind of like licking your wounds or maybe even a little bit still in a state of shock, it can be a little more challenging to understand the purpose behind it. And the fact that this card gives you two different perspectives, the front and the back, it allows you to look into the card meaning a little bit more. Is this behind me or is this ahead of me? Is there something that has been left undone that I still need to review? Now, I am a person that doesn't read reversals. So this card deck also is fascinating to me because in a lot of ways people would say, oh, okay, well, it's just the depiction of the reversal of the card. And, you would be right. That is in essence what is transpiring here. But I get different messages. I get deeper messages than this. It tells a different story. And if you were to put, some of these cards, lay these cards in sort of an interesting storyline, let's just take a look here. That one has nudity, so we'll skip that one. Here we go. So if we're looking at it from this perspective, what have we got here? We've got a Page of Cups. So creativity, he's facing us. He looks pretty, well, he doesn't look happy. He actually looks kind of a little bit bored. Like he's like, okay, I caught the fish. What's next? Like I'm in the water, but I'm not like submerged in the water. Like, what do I do next? Like, this fish is supposed to be in water. So what do I do next? And then we've got, it looks like here we've got the Nine of, let me just see what this is. Oh, this is Justice. Okay. So we've got the back, the reversal of Justice, or the back of Justice. So what we're seeing here, oh, it's an 11. I kept saying 9. It's an 11. Duh, my bad. So what we've got here is we've got the back of the throne that Lady Justice sits on. We are seeing the Egyptian, I forget if this is Newt. I think it might be Newt. We see the sword. We see a butterfly, so transformation. We see a vine growing on the sword. We have a salamander here. We've got a couple of shells, sort of that are just kind of rings or whatever that are set overturned. In fact, it might even be the scales of Justice that are just kind of flattened down. And you've got pillars, and it looks like somebody is sitting in the throne on the other side of it, and they're looking out over this constellation. So we're seeing the back of that. So has justice been served? Are you being blacked out or boxed out of justice? Is justice blind? Are you not allowed to see what is transpiring here? There's a lot of cement here, so not necessarily porous. It may be echoey. And then we've got, the Two of Cups here. So again, we're pulling a lot of cups energy. Two of Cups is union, pairing, partnership. So this guy is bored. He's being blocked from something that really is going to fulfill his heart and help him to feel really connected to something. So if we're letting go of this, or if we're, thinking that there's a person here, they're feeling blocked. That's why this is happening. You want this, but you can't have it because there's something that's blocking you. Well, death is coming through to remove this, to get you out of boredom, to allow you to see things, to get closer to justice, to understand what justice is all about, to face it head on so that you can get to where it is that you're going. So you can see how it gives you a story. It lays out a particular, naked people. It lays out a particular storyline that you can follow. It tells its own story. So I really like this, especially when going through, kind of a major change like that. And I'll just go through some more of these. So here we are. We have bums. So I'll just cover that up just in case. We've got bums, naked bums. But I just really like this because it does give you, I want to say, that different perspective, and it helps the mind and it helps the intuition to be able to get to the heart of, that subconscious. Because sometimes we're blocked from this. Sometimes we're just too close to a situation and we don't quite know how to connect or to approach, or we don't know why the thing is happening, or we might know why, but we just don't know what's coming next. I feel like this deck really helps you to get there. And I love that it's the front and the back. So you've always got something new and fresh to look at. Yeah. So again, I wouldn't go to this deck if I was really like in the throes of grief, pain, denial around this, shock. I don't know that this deck would bring you comfort as much as this deck is going to be pretty straightforward with you about what the story is behind the change, the shift, and the death itself, why it's occurring. Okay, and the third deck that I am featuring today is the Mystical Shaman Oracle. And this is Alberto Villoldo, Colette Baron-Reid, and I think her name is Mirabello Lobos. This deck has been out for a long time. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with it. It's much loved. The book has been, very used. I love that it gives 3 different perspectives for each of the decks. It's a box within a box. And I chose this because the imagery is really incredible. It's different from any of the other card decks that I've featured here. It's got a nice matte finish. It's got that oracle-sized card because it is an oracle deck. So bigger cards. A number is always featured here. And the imagery is just so beautiful. You really need to look into it and get lost into it. You can meditate with this. So, here, the seer, we've got the beautiful lion's face coming through. We've got the shaman at work. We've got feathers. The seer, eyes are closed so that the third eye receives. We've got a mushroom in here. We've got flying birds. There's so much to this deck that if you're using it even in combination with one of these other 2 tarot decks, while the imagery might clash a little bit, the messaging is really good. And I feel like this helps you with the subconscious understanding, the subconscious awareness, what do I need to connect to as I'm going through this? Do I need to connect to Mother Earth? Do I need to connect to my intuition? What is going to support me as I'm going through this? Earth energy. Okay, this is happening because it's connected to my sense of safety or security, or the issue is around my living environment, my location. And I'm understanding, okay, I need to think more broadly. We're seeing roots, here being shown in the earth. We're seeing the face of someone coming through. We're seeing a headdress, the image of a headdress coming through, representing the third eye energy, the jaguar. So if you're getting to know what a jaguar is, understanding its energy as a spirit animal, it's going to help you to understand what characteristics and aspects can help you to understand why you're going through this phoenix burning phase. It can also give you clear, direct guidance around the energy that you want to be tapping into in order to be able to support yourself. And again, the numbers 28, So it's connected to pairing, partnership, unions, issues of duality. And 8 is mastery, abundance. It is the as above, so below. It is the infinity. So this is a soul thing connected to duality, for example, or connected to a pairing that you are letting go, or maybe that you are preparing to walk into. And what is it going to create? 10, a new beginning based on an already established foundation, tapping into that Jaguar energy. We have the beautiful moon card. So, okay, this is a cycle. This might even indicate timing. This cycle is going to last how many cycles of the moon, or it's going to last 1 month. Whatever moon phase you're drawn to, that will be an indicator for you as well. So this card deck, I mean, the images are just gorgeous. So also that can bring a little bit of comfort when you're going through a death card experience. And you are going through that phoenix burning. Well, flow, water puts out fire, right? So it's like, okay, this is how I can kind of ease my fears or my worries or my anxieties around what is transpiring. And instead, I'm ready to step into what is coming next. Here, completion. Yes, this is happening because you've done this cycle. You no longer need to keep doing the same thing over and over again. You're ready for something new and different. This could also indicate that completion is coming. It's on its way. This is something that you have been seeking out for yourself, and you just haven't been able to hit it yet. Well, this is why it's happening. Stand still. So again, what can I do to protect myself? What can I do to help myself through this? What can I do to make sure that I'm learning the lesson as I'm saying goodbye to this old version of myself and moving into something new? I can take a moment and breathe. I can meditate. I can recognize that this is opening a new door, a new portal for me, the dawning of a new day, letting go of the old, but connecting to ancient wisdom and bringing it into the modern day, right? So many ways to look at this. The beauty way, the lotus, not being afraid to understand that the lotus and the dragonfly work together. They come out of, both of them come out of and are birthed out of the muck and mire of, the swamp or the marsh. But when it comes out, yeah, it's had to work really hard. But when it comes out, it's a beautiful experience, a beautiful existence. And this might be what you're stepping into. Here we have lightning. So lightning is air energy, the element of air, intelligence, communication, intuition, also ignition. This has to go so that you can ignite something new in your life, so that you can reconnect to the core essence, the soul essence of you. The ghost dance. You're letting go of past ancestral trauma or doing ancestral healing. That you are letting the ghosts of the past really go now, that you're not going to make decisions about your future based on ghosts that you can't do anything about anymore, ghosts that no longer exist in your life and in your world. The heart of sky, being more galactic in your approach, expanding your horizons. I'm also seeing a lot of chakra energy here, making sure that you are aligned, your chakras are aligned, your physical body is aligned with what you're trying to achieve in your life, because that phoenix burning is getting rid of anything and everything that was connected to the old. So you want to make sure that you are now telling your body how you're choosing to align. We'll just do a couple more here. Soul retrieval. This is happening so that you can retrieve your soul. Why is that death happening? Because now the luminous warrior that is within you is awakening. This has activated you. What you're releasing, what you're letting go of, or what has been taken away is activating you in a way that allows you to become all that you've come here to be. The crow, as above, so below. I can live in the shadow realm as well as in the realm above, and all the things in between. And that is, in essence, my purpose, to be a divine way shower and to show that the light and the dark are all a part of love and divinity. Corn, the abundance, the substance that is here for all of us. So there's just a lot of I want to say, really delicious information that comes from this mystical shaman energy. I love this vision quest. This is dying away so that you can create a new vision for yourself, reconnect with who you are or who you've wanted to be, that maybe you haven't allowed yourself to explore, to step into at this time. I love this card here, the fire card. Look at that. So death is coming to reignite your passions, to light your fire, and so that you can use that out in the world to live your purpose. The holy mountain, because you're ready to start a new journey. Maybe it's a pilgrimage to a higher version of yourself, a higher frequency. Maybe this is the spiritual path that you're taking, and you've got to get rid of some of the physical 3D heaviness in order to be able to make room for this path, the ancient ones. Bringing in your ancestors, the ancient wisdom, opening up to channeling. The beloved, this relationship has to go, because the beloved, this next beloved that is going to align with who you are now, is coming into the mix. But it can't come to fruition if it doesn't have room. So just really beautiful messages here. And this is a deck. It's been around for a really long time. I've had it for a number of years now. It's funny because it's a deck that I used to use all the time. I haven't pulled from it in quite a while. And I want to say, just a couple of weeks ago, I had just a mini Phoenix burning experience. It was one that I was initiating for myself. And I grabbed a couple of different decks, and something told me that I needed to look for my mystical shaman. And I pulled it out, and I got the most beautiful reading. And it was like short and sweet. Like I pulled my 2 cards, boom, boom, had the answer that I needed. And I was like, okay, now I have closure. Now I understand why this is happening. I know why I've chosen this. And now I know what's to come. And wow, is it exciting to be able to step into that and know that that's what the outcome of this is going to be, because that outcome is, in essence, what I'm really looking to feel into, to experience, and to grow upon, to expand upon from that perspective. All right, guys. So that is our divinely decked edition for that Phoenix burning phase, and 3 unique card decks that give you that unique perspective as to why the Phoenix burning situation is happening for you, and how you can really make it work for you, get the clarity and guidance that you are seeking in it, and do it in a way that allows you to be a little bit once removed, so that you can be more objective about it and really understand the why. It has been, as always, a pleasure to connect with you guys. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, click the bell on my YouTube. Please share this with anyone that you feel could benefit from this type of guidance. And until I see you for another episode of Black Feather Couture, Divining a VIP Life, sending you lots of love and support. We will see you on the flip side, and transform well. That's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. It was great to connect with you guys. Please like, subscribe, and comment for more content like this. And feel free to follow me on Blue Sky for even more content every single day. Can't wait to see you guys next week for another installment of Black Feather Couture, Divining the VIP Life.